Hi there, this is Paula Jones from paulahelps.me, and I would like to talk to you today about 5 steps to developing great self-esteem. paulahelps.me is a new venture. It's going to be including all of the courses that I do across lots of different brands, and it's in a temporary home at the moment. So when we come to look at it a little bit later, don't worry about the web address that you're given. paulahelps.me will be in its rightful home very shortly. But for now, I really want to talk to you about these steps to great self-esteem, because self-esteem is the absolute bedrock of our well-being. And if you run a business or you're in a position of responsibility without great self-esteem, we really are stuck. So we're going to have a look at 5 practical steps towards self-esteem, but firstly I wanted to start with defining self-esteem. So, as you can see, it's a noun, and it's defined as confidence in one's own worth or abilities and self-respect. Confidence in one's own worth, that's a bit of that I want to tackle first. Confidence is not something that we're all sprinkled with at birth by fairies with fairy dust. Nobody leant over my crib at my christening and blessed the beloved child with all of this confidence. Self-esteem for me has been a real journey of self-discovery over the years, and it's been something that I've had to earn, but it's meant that I've been able to develop a real sense of self-worth, to know that I'm not rubbish and that I do deserve good stuff and I work very hard for it. It's not about having an inflated sense of self, but it's just quiet self-assurance and knowing what you are, what you're capable of, and so on. And also self-respect. Without much in the way of self-respect, it's very difficult to have a life and a business that you feel good about. And self-respect means making choices that are right for you, that are not going to harm you, and that allow you to occasionally put yourself first in front of other people. And I know for a lot of people with self-esteem issues, this can be a real problem, putting yourself first, but sometimes we absolutely have to. So it's an overall sense of your self-worth and personal value. And your personal value, if you run a business, you might see this come into play quite a lot with people's pricing, or perhaps your own pricing, because a one-woman band will often reflect how the owner feels about themselves. So when I first started my very first business some time ago, I'd come out of a marriage where I'd been desperately unhappy, and my self-worth and value were in my shoes, and I'd sunk to such depths with my self-esteem that I would allow potential clients to batter my fees down and to work really barely above minimum wage. I've since learned, and I no longer do that, and this is why self-esteem, again, it's just so important. It permeates everything that you do. So your sense of self, your self-worth, and your personal value have to be at a realistic level. Now, your idea of realistic and mine might be completely different, but realistic means that you're not doing yourself down, you're not talking yourself out of great opportunities, you're not putting yourself down, but you are showing a realistic view. You are showing yourself as you really are, as you are qualified, as you have experience. All of those things go into creating this realistic view. And Braden in 1969 told us that there are 3 key components with self-esteem, that it's vital to survival and healthy development, that it's based on beliefs and consciousness, and that it works with our thoughts, behaviours, feelings, and actions. So I just want you to let that sink in for a moment and think how important firstly it is to survival. And this isn't overstating the case or over egging the pudding or anything like that. It is absolutely vital to survival for you to be able to keep going and to feel great about yourself and to be able to function on a day-to-day basis. A healthy level of self-esteem is absolutely vital. Healthy development as well, for you to be able to be the person that you want to be, for you to be able to nurture your kids so that they've got healthy self-esteem, so that they see their mum being able to do what she wants, being an inspiration to them, showing them how it's done. It's based on your beliefs and consciousness, so your conscious thoughts, how you experience the world around you. But your beliefs can be changed. Your values are a little more difficult, but beliefs are something that you can change in an instant. It takes only 13 seconds to change a thought. So I could change my belief on religion really quickly if I was presented with enough evidence. So based on the fact that it takes 13 seconds to change a thought, 13 seconds and some compelling evidence will allow me to change a belief. Okay, I know that's a fairly simplistic way of looking at it, but you see how this works. And your self-esteem works with your thoughts, your behaviours, your feelings and actions, and all of these four things are tied up together. So behaviours and actions are slightly different things. Your actions come about as a result of behaviours. But your behaviours are based on your thoughts and your feelings. So again, if you change your thoughts, which takes 13 seconds to do, then the feelings around your thoughts will also change. You might not recognise that you're having a particular thought, but you'll recognise a feeling. So you recognise feeling sad, frustrated, angry, upset. Trace it back and see what the thoughts were that led to that. Change your actions and your behaviours will change around them. This is fairly standard cognitive-based therapy approach to changing how you feel and changing your self-esteem. So low self-esteem or an unhealthy lack of self-esteem can lead to you feeling inadequate. And if you feel inadequate and you run a business, then you are setting yourself up for failure. It also means you're doing yourself a real disservice as well, because you tend to put success down to luck. I was just in the right place at the right time. I just must have said the right thing at the right time. It's only because somebody else wasn't available. All those kinds of things. Feeling unworthy or worthless. Unworthy of success. Worthless, so you don't deserve love, respect, etc. Missed opportunities in life, in business, things passing you by, and also playing it safe, not stretching yourself, and not only getting out of your comfort zone, but really getting into that discomfort zone. Anyone can get out of their comfort zone, but really planting yourself firmly into where you feel massively uncomfortable and making real achievements. That's something that low self-esteem will stop you from doing, so you play safe. Also, which I've not listed on here, is the chance that you will self-sabotage as well. And self-sabotage is absolutely rife in people who have low levels of self-esteem. You don't feel deserving, so you feel inadequate, so if you're not worth it, you're worthless. Self-sabotage is the next logical step. But this is erroneous thinking. Just because you think something doesn't make it true. Just because you think something doesn't make it a fact. And just because you think something and it's in your voice, in your head, doesn't make it gospel truth. But the problem is that thoughts can become things, and erroneous thinking can become erroneous judgment. And erroneous judgment leads to erroneous actions. So it can lead to you not doing the things that you want to do in your business and your life because you don't feel good enough. It can lead to you undercharging. It can lead to you not being able to set boundaries. It can lead to lots of problematic situations in your business and your life that you just don't feel like you can overcome. So this is erroneous thinking. Just because we think something doesn't mean we're right. Because one of the problems with low self-esteem, which oddly enough you would think wouldn't be the case, is that we can get a little bit arrogant. You know, we think that nobody can help us, nobody can possibly understand, and you're not in my head, you don't know what I'm going through, you don't understand what I'm talking about. So that level of arrogance can kind of lead to self-fulfilling prophecies as well. If we push something enough, that thought will become a thing. That thing that we don't want will happen. If you believe in the law of attraction, if you think about attracting good things to yourself, then those good things will come. I know from absolute experience, if you expect the worst usually happens. So bear this in mind. Erroneous thinking is a little bit arrogant, but it's also incorrect. And it's okay to be wrong, especially about this stuff. You view the world from your own version of reality, and your reality is going to be very different to mine. And your reality is based on your levels of self-esteem again, and your personal experience and so on. And it kind of goes back to that previous slide with the erroneous thinking and thoughts becoming things. So if you can only see your own reality, that's going to colour the world, and it's going to colour all of your decisions as well. Your decision-making process is going to be tainted by erroneous thinking that lives within your specific reality at this point. So if you think you'll never be able to achieve something, you won't even try. If you think that no one will pay for my stuff, then you'll drop your prices. If you're thinking things like, God, nobody will pay for that, I wouldn't, then you're basing your view of other people on a very skewed view of yourself and your own thoughts and feelings. So it's vital that we can step outside this version of reality, which is a very narrow version of reality, and look at the outside world and the bigger picture, and see what other people do, and see how they charge and how they feel about what they do. So, for example, I know that the programs that I've got coming up are worth the money. They're worth the money because it's not just about, do you get a few worksheets and a couple of MP3s? It's about the final transformations. And it's about the fact that I can teach you how to recreate your own levels of self-esteem so that they're healthy and help your positive development, so you can go and do the stuff you want to do and go and grab life the way you want to. You know, now that's talking about how I value what I do and my own sense of self-worth, because I've managed to increase my self-worth over the years. So I don't worry about pricing. You know, it's not about £97 and a couple of worksheets, it's transformation. When you think about your own businesses, what is it that you do for the people around you? What is it that you do for your clients that's just so amazing that you can put a price on it and feel happy with it? Because you're giving amazing value. You're giving yourself what you know, what you've achieved, all your years of experience. And that's where your reality should be coming from. But we are subconsciously conditioned into levels of poor self-esteem. It's almost hypnotic. And as a hypnotherapist, this is something that really does interest me, because over the years, I've been kind of tranced into poor self-esteem. And the realization of this was an absolute revelation to me, that I was able to undo the conditioning years and years of conditioning, I might add. We're not talking about just a few weeks or months. It's 15 years of conditioning that I was useless, rubbish, not very good, could be treated like a child, and so on. And this realization that I could undo that and recondition what I'd been through was amazing. So this happens to most of us. It can happen from childhood, the odd offhand remark from somebody. It can come at times when you are feeling particularly vulnerable as well. One massive point of low self-esteem for me was after my father died and feeling that I didn't really have an awful lot of support. So, when everybody's grieving, I guess, it's very hard to see clearly and see that reality that's not skewed. And if you're feeling that you're kind of left to yourself, then perhaps you're not worth helping. That seed is planted and it takes root. So it's very subconscious. It can be quite difficult to trace back, but once you find the source of it, it's amazing, and you can just start to unravel all of this. So, it can be as a result of past thoughtlessness, offhand remarks that caught you at a bad time. But these feelings of low self-esteem do not have to stay with you for life. I am one of those people that I can say I'm living proof of this. So it's only going to be living proof if you've known me for the last 44 years. But, when I hit 40, it was kind of like a switch was flicked on. And I realised that actually, I'm all right. I don't have to go through my life thinking I'm lesser than, undeserving, not worthy, always getting in the first dig. If any of you do that, self-deprecation only works for Hugh Grant in films, and that's because he's got floppy hair and it's in the script that he will get the girl. Other than that, self-deprecation doesn't work. So please don't do it too much. So, the 5 main keys that I want to talk to you about is firstly, stop blaming yourself. I was born in 1970, and in 1970, Janis Joplin died, Jimi Hendrix died, and the Beatles split up. Now, those 3 things to me are quite significant because I love music so much. The Beatles are just the band, the be-all and end-all band as far as I'm concerned. And the other 2 are musicians that I really respect. Now, when you are in a position of vulnerability where your reality is skewed, it's amazing what you can blame yourself for. And it might sound a little bit over the top, but I used to introduce myself, when somebody would want to know your story, and I'd tell them when I was born, and in the same year these things happened, so clearly it's my fault. And, they'd chuckle away at me, but I was kind of only half joking, it's not that I know that I'm directly to blame for these events happening, but it's amazing what you can tie into your low levels of self-esteem. So being aware of how low self-esteem affects you means that you take on problems from other people, you take on responsibility for other people's issues, and if you're in a relationship, for example, it's very easy to take all the blame when that relationship fails. So again, just to give you an example of my marriage, for a long time after my first marriage broke up, it took me a long time to pick apart where it was my fault and where it wasn't my fault. And it wasn't all me, it takes 2 people to break up a relationship, and there are 3 sides to the relationship story. There's yours, theirs, and somewhere in the middle is the truth. So we all see from our own reality, we all see from our own skewed point of view. If you have low self-esteem, you put those things together and you've got a nice recipe for blame soup. So stop blaming yourself. Not everything is your responsibility. And if you are thinking along the lines of, oh, blame me because everything else is me, isn't it? That's the point where you need to stop, listen to what you're saying to yourself, take notice of it, and take notice of where else you might be saying this. Keeping a diary at this point is a good idea, or journaling. Start to notice when you are advocating blame and piling it all on yourself. Secondly, stop feeling inferior. I'm aware that I'm saying stop here, but honestly, this is a choice. If you get a chance, go and have a look on YouTube and find the Bob Newhart Stop It sketch. Because A, it's hilarious, and B, he's actually right. We need to stop it. To whom are you inferior? Exactly. Now, if you say everyone, this global loathing of oneself it's out of proportion, it's absolutely unrealistic, and inferiority is a very strange concept because it implies serious deficiencies. So where has this idea that you're inferior come from? Is it from years and years again of conditioning, do you think? Has it come from a specific event? Has it come from a specific person? And if it's come from a specific person, then who died and made them king/queen of absolutely everything? What is it that makes their opinion so superior? When you're judging on these criteria that you are inferior and somebody else is superior, you really need to look at where this is coming from and what scales you're using to gauge and judge these things. So stopping feeling inferior is a massive step towards regaining great self-esteem. Thirdly, don't compare yourself to others. Now I know this is inevitable at some stage in life and some situations. You know, I might be out in town and see somebody who's really beautiful and think, why is it fair that I was born looking like this and she was born looking like that? But I have to let those feelings go very quickly, because if I don't, being somebody with a tendency towards self-esteem issues, I could drag myself down so quickly. And notice that I'm saying drag myself down. I'm not saying I could be dragged down, because it's taking responsibility for how I feel and how I choose to respond to how I feel. So I'm always going to have a funny face. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Don't compare yourself to others. It's impossible to do a comparison of you against somebody else, because none of us are ever at the same stages at the same time. And we're all unique, so how is it possible? We're not graded into streams in school anymore. Even if we were, it's not that easy, is it, that you can band a load of kids together and expect them all to be the same. Just wearing a uniform doesn't make them uniform. So the same applies to us as adults. We can't compare ourselves to other people. If you're running a business, so say for example you're running a coaching business like I do, and you have a competitor out there who's doing something similar to you, the only thing that comparing yourself to them will cause to happen is your self-esteem will take an absolute nosedive, because if it's already on shaky ground, you'll look at what they're doing and think they are so much better than me. But you're judging them and not judging your own stuff and your own potential and the great things that you're doing. And you never know, they might be looking at you and thinking exactly the same thing. In fact, I think that was probably a given. So don't compare yourself to other people. It is such a pointless exercise. I can't stress it enough. Don't compare yourself to other people. Worry about what you're doing. Now, when I say worry, I mean that in the colloquial north of England, you just worry about yourself kind of way. Don't worry, but focus. Focus on what you're doing, how great you are, how much your clients will love what you're doing, how great you'll feel about what you're achieving. Don't worry about anybody else. Just focus on you and yours. Practice some self-approval. Okay, this can be something that feels a bit weird, but affirmations help here. And saying just simply, I am enough, is a good first step. The words I am enough are present tense and they are a bold statement. I am enough. Don't need external validation, you only need self-approval. And self-approval is not conditional. It's not, well, when I've lost £10, then I'll approve of myself. That process of losing £10 could take a long time, so you're going to be in limbo until you lose that weight. The chances are, if you practice some self-approval and say, I'm okay as I am, the weight might just come off that little bit easier anyway. If you say, my business is good enough, I am happy with what I do, and so are my clients, again, a nice, bold statement that's positive, that's in the present tense, that says how things are now. Self-approval is an amazing thing. You don't need to look outside yourself for validation, because again, you are, if you do so, you're abdicating responsibility, but you're also saying, well, your opinion means so much more than mine. So you're looking to other people for sanction and permission to be okay. So what would you do if they denied you that permission? Not everybody's nice. Some people are awful. And you might not realise this until it's too late, that the person that you're handing this power over to is a bit of a swine. And if they are, they can take your self-esteem and just crush it underfoot. So let's not risk that. Let's start looking to ourselves for approval. Practice self-approval. You are the only one that matters. Okay, I mentioned earlier that paulahelps.me is in a slightly temporary home at the moment. And I want to talk to you about a course that's available for you to buy right now. And it's the 30-day Thrive course. And you can find it at coachclasscourses.com, www.coachclasscourses.com/home. All of the details are on the home page, along with the link to buy this course. And it's a course that's delivered to you daily online, and it's there to help you increase your self-esteem so you can head into the new year, get into 2015, feeling great and leaving some of this baggage of 2014 behind you. Wouldn't it be great if you felt more confident and comfortable with yourself and able to take on your challenges? To know that you can feel great about your business and feel great about yourself. And if it's something that you struggle with, then I'm going to be teaching you on this course how to live to your values and reappraise the person that you think you are, to really start getting to know yourself. So you can stop missing opportunities and you can actually get what you want. Because if you're sick of feeling like a fraud, and I know I was sick of that, I always felt like I was waiting to be found out. And as a result, my business and life really suffered. So if that's you, then you need this course. It's a prompt a day with audio and a transcript. There's worksheets on some of the days. There are also 4 longer bonus recorded webinars. And there's also a free hypnotic MP3. It's a relaxation, stress busting MP3 that you can listen to whenever you need. And this course will genuinely have you feeling great about yourself and ready to take on all of your challenges while getting to be the version of you that you've always wanted to be. I've run this course before, and there is a Facebook group which is part of this program. You can choose to join the Facebook group or not, but if you come and join, then that means that you've also got peer support and you've got one-to-one coaching from me, because I'll be in there as well. This course is just £97. So £97 for 4 weeks of awesome self-esteem, getting to be you but better. So it's just £97, but on January the 1st, the price is going to have to go up due to the new VAT laws that are being put in place. So please go and grab this before the VAT laws kick in and I have to raise the price on January the 1st. So it's www.coachclasscourses.com/home and you can buy it directly from there. Okay, step number 5 is working out who you are. So getting to know yourself properly when you have low self-esteem is about working out what your values are, what matters to you, and what doesn't matter to you. And this will all help you to work out your self-identity. Because having a low, unhealthy sense of self-esteem is damaging and leaves you feeling lost. And feeling lost is one of the most awful feelings ever. And no amount of work and business and new products and services is going to help you feeling lost, because the lost feeling reflects in everything that you do. So working out who you are, what you love, what matters to you, and what values you have is vital to developing a healthy sense of self-esteem. So in order to do this, if you have a look online, there's a website called Steve Pavlina, www.stevepavlina.com, Pavlina, Steve Pavlina. And on his site, he has a list of values. Now, it's just a list of nouns, again, like self-esteem. But if you're stuck for values, this is a great resource that you can go and look through and see what matters to you most. Integrity is one of those that's a given. So if you're doing things with integrity, you don't need to talk about your integrity. If you ever see anybody say, I do things with integrity, the fact that they've plucked that one out of the air first tells me that actually perhaps not, so just watch that one. But joy, fun, love, hard work, caring, things like that are great values to have. And fun and joy and love and laughter are not nice to have, they're essential to life. And you deserve them. So if they're missing from your life at the moment, perhaps we need to think about how to regain those. How important they are to you, how important they have been to you, and where perhaps they might have disappeared. If you start to bring these things together, you'll get a fuller, rounder picture of who you actually are. So I'm Paula, I'm a wife, a sister, an aunt, a daughter, a cousin. I'm a trainer, a coach, a hypnotherapist. I value fun, love, laughter, hard work, caring. That helps me to identify my place in the world. It keeps me anchored and it stops me from feeling lost, because the things that I do in my life revolve around those values and those roles that I fill. So gain a sense of who you are, work out who you are, and your self-esteem will increase naturally. So those were the 5 steps to increase self-esteem. Again, just a reminder, the 30-day Thrive, you can find it at coachclasscourses.com/home. It's part of the Me and Mrs. Jones Hypnotherapy brand, if you're wondering why it says Me and Mrs. Jones Hypnotherapy. And go and grab this course, it's just £97. Please take up the offer before the price has to go up in January, and you will not regret it. This is about getting you to a point where you have genuine self-assurance, quiet confidence and just feel great about yourself. And you are worth this. If you're looking at that page and thinking, I don't know, I mean, so many other things I could spend this on, and I'm not sure it's that important to feel that good. It's important. It just takes over every aspect of your life if your self-esteem is struggling. Your business will struggle, your relationships will struggle, your feelings about yourself will struggle. Life is not meant to be a struggle. This is your birthright to have great self-esteem. So take up the offer while it's still there, please. If you've got any questions, then you can email me at me and Mrs. Jones Hypnotherapy. It's hello@hypnotherapyinharrogate.co.uk, because that's where we work, hypnotherapyinharrogate.co.uk. You can also come and join me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Paula Helps Me. So remember, Paula Helps Me is kind of new. It's going to be bringing together lots of different brands, but the basis of this is your personal development hub, and the 30-day even Thrive is the start of that. So again, just remember it's coachclasscourses.com/home to go and get the details on that. Okay, that's it from me. Come and join us on Facebook, and connect, and come and talk to us and tell us what you need, what you'd like, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.